The spice routes, as part of the most famous ancient trade route, the Silk Road, were maritime paths linking the civilizations in the east with the ones in the west. From 2000 before Christ on, an impressive network of sea routes stretching from the west coast of Japan through the islands of Indonesia, around the Indian subcontinent to the Iranian plateau, the Arabian Peninsula, and eventually Europe, facilitated the large-scale trade of spices over a distance of more than 15,000 kilometers. These journeys were not undertaken purely in the spirit of adventure. The driving force behind them was trade. Pepper, cloves, cinnamon, and nutmeg were all hugely sought-after commodities in Europe, but before the 15th century, North African and Arab middlemen controlled the access to trade with the East, making such spices extremely costly and rare. As it was often the case with many other goods traded along the Silk Roads, the ports where spice traders stopped along their journeys acted as melting pots for a broad exchange of ideas and information. With every ship that set sail with a cargo of valuables on board, knowledge was carried over the seas to be exchanged at the next port of call. Goods were exchanged and traders would return to the homeland carrying the beautiful scented exotic spices. Perhaps it was their strangeness and rarity that led great medicinal and spiritual values to be attributed to them. The transport was favored by the presence of steppes, although several arid zones had to be bypassed. Economies of scale, harsh conditions, and security considerations required the organizations of trade into caravans, slowly trekking from one stage to the other. Regardless of the circumstances, the Maritime Silk Road became one of the most enduring trade routes in human history. Spices were highly valued because, as well as being used in cooking, many had ritual, religious, or medical uses. They were of high value because of their relative geographical scarcity. The profits to be made from spices were considerable. The wealth of the spice traders brought a great power and influence, and over the centuries, also bloody battles were fought to win control of it, and the routes along which it took place. Wars were fought, lands colonized, and fortunes made on the back of the spice trade, making this trade route one of the most significant in terms of globalization.